been since last Friday, and that's continued every single day, and if that's straying away from the legislative agenda.
Yes, it definitely is. The president is the deflector in chief. Anytime he's going to lose a health care bill, an election in Alabama, whatever it is, he's got something else he's going to try to divert attention to. And he succeeds with it because everybody's paying attention to that, right? Now, the fact is that our Constitution guarantees people the right to express themselves freely. This president has a different view, I guess, of what we salute when we salute the flag, that we salute that freedom. And the kinds of comments that he has made are beneath the dignity of his office, of our flag, and of our Constitution.
Do you think that it's odd that the president is co-opting this language and changing it to unity instead of what the original message was and has been for months?
Yeah, I do. I think it's unfortunate. As the President of the United States, this is a unifying opportunity for him. I just can't answer for what's in his soul or in his heart about these things, but I do know what he says is not unifying for our country. Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to ask your response. There's a growing scrutiny on President Trump's cabinet members, many of whom have private charter jets. Specifically, Tom Price, I know this is something he's been critical of you for in the past. Do you think this is an appropriate use of government?
No, I don't. No, I don't. But I'm not familiar with all the details of it. But from what I see, what you all are presenting and what the president has said, this is just not right. Just not right.
Do you think it's grounds for removal?
Well, I didn't think he should be in there in the first place because what did the president do? The president appointed somebody to Health and Human Services who doesn't believe in health care for all Americans. He appointed somebody to EPA who doesn't believe in clean air, clean water. Appointed somebody to Department of Education who doesn't believe in public education, to labor who doesn't believe in workers' rights. So I don't think he should be there in the first place. And it is unfortunate that he is. For these and other reasons, I would rather somebody else be there. But who could it be? It would probably be somebody who agrees with the president on these scores. So again, in terms of all of these things, it's about the rules, it's about the law, it's about the facts. I think they have to examine that and see where he comes down in that regard. Yes, Chad?
Going back to Carolyn's question here about the firearms legislation next week, and you alluded to Congressman Scalise returning today. What about the juxtaposition of having him return today and that legislation of which you spoke so forcibly against a moment ago? What about that?
Oh, I don't know. I like to think that it's just a coincidence, but you have a more conspiratorial mind than I do, Chad.
Well, I'm not suggesting that. only about the San Francisco Giants. Go ahead. But I know in the last place. But that said, some people thought there might be more of a conversation after Gabby Giffords, after Scalise.
Yeah.
And here we are, and then you cite this piece of legislation on the floor next week.
Well, I didn't know it was scheduled for next week until Carolyn mentioned, and that you're putting with the timetable.
We've been hearing.
I didn't know that. I do know that it was taken up in committee, and I was very proud of the common sense that our members injected into that discussion, especially when they're calling it something for hunters and sportsmen. Please, hunters and sportsmen don't need what that bill puts forth unless they're not a very good hunter or sportsman. But I don't think they're advocating that. I don't think they're advocating that at all, the hunters and sportsmen. But it is, I never even thought of that. Yes, Carolyn.
Yes, Madam Leader, I'd like to get your thoughts on some gun legislation that's on sort of moving toward the floor. One would, critics say, would deregulate silencers, and another would undermine concealed carry laws in states like California.
Yes. Well, and in addition to that, it's the silencers, it's the conceal and carry, and it's also armor-piercing bullets. I mean, this is really very dangerous. And I wish the American people, there's so much going on right now, but I was very proud of our Democrats in committee as they fought this, and they put it forth again under facade of it's for hunters. Hunters need bullet-piercing, armor-piercing bullets. They need silencers. They need conceal and carry to hunt. So again, we all understand that the Second Amendment exists. We respect the rights of people to have gun ownership. The fact, though, that they're making it more dangerous for our first responders to have to deal with armor-piercing bullets, silencers, even in the case of Steve Scalise, if you can hear, you can run to the where the tragedy is emanating from. It's horrible. Again, they always name things, and you can just turn it upside down. So, we'll fight it, but, they'll have the votes, and the president seems to be on that path. But if you do care about gun safety, and what we have talked about is a compromise where we have bipartisan support. We have the bill. Mike Thompson of California is, and Peter King are the co-authors of it. They are Mike is the chair of our gun safety task force. He's a hunter. He's a decorated war hero, so he knows about guns in terms of recreational and what you really do need for that. And it's only about what we're saying is we want to be able to make sure that there are background checks on people having who want to own guns. It's very simple, and it overwhelmingly is supported by the American people. Instead, the Republicans are going in a different direction. Yes, sir.
Madam Leader, the Children's Health Insurance
Yeah.
Program and the healthcare extender are House Democrats insisting that CHIP and the extenders be packaged together.
Well, they have. 5 years ago, Speaker Boehner and I put together the SGR package that had this extension in there for child care, the SCHIP, State Children's Health Insurance Program, and the community health centers. The Senate has a good bill, Hatch-Wyden, that is a 5-year extension of CHIP. I wish we could take that up. They've been packaged together. It's not about an insistence. What I'm concerned about is that the leadership is saying, the Republican leadership is saying, oh, they have money until later this year. We don't have to do it. Well, why don't we do it? Why don't we inject some certainty into it? 9 million children benefit from SCHIP. And it'd be nice for them to have the certainty that this has passed. Why would you say, well, we can wait? Well, we don't have to. I get your point. We're not going to be able to do it by September 30th, which is this weekend. But why aren't we doing it immediately when we come back? What is the question? Why would we hold it up? It's just procrastination.
And do Democrats already have a package of offsets together to pay for it?
We're always prepared. Yeah, we're always prepared. And another piece of this relates to Puerto Rico. In the spring, when we did the appropriations bill, we had in it some money for Puerto Rico, but the thought was that when we did SCHIP and community health centers, that there would be another. We have what is called a Medicaid cliff in Puerto Rico, that we would address that then. And now we're saying, oh, what's your hurry? Well, all the more urgency because of what's happening in Puerto Rico. But maybe we can just put it in this appropriations bill, the supplemental that the Speaker mentioned we would do in October as soon as we can. That would be very promising. But you just can't let everything just drag on when it's only a decision. There's nothing new that's going to enter the discussion. It's just a decision. And it's been bipartisan. As I say, Hatch-Wyden, it's been bipartisan. Boehner, Pelosi, we put that package together before. All right. Yeah. Yes, sir?
Last question.
Huh.
The Speaker said that the tax framework would go into committee. Are you confident that when in committee they will reach across the aisle and get some of those democratic ideas and bring it into the tax discussion?
Well, I hope so, because there are certain things. Again, we want growth. We want good-paying jobs. We want to reduce the deficit. Okay? So if that's what we have common ground on, what are in furtherance of reaching those? What is in furtherance of reaching those goals? Certainly, they must know that plowing a big hole in again, increasing the deficit so dramatically, not the deficit, the national debt so dramatically. And what that means on interest on the debt service, and the opportunity cost that is, instead of having those resources to invest in education and research and development and other initiatives that keep America number one. They say, oh, this is going to create growth and it's going to pay for the deficit, the debt. It doesn't. As I said, Bartlett even notes, less a person than a person who was a supply side economist with Jack Kemp said, it's just not true. It's nonsense. It's BS, he said. But we said, if you want to do dynamic scoring like that, why don't you say, every dollar we spend on education brings more money back to the Treasury. Every dollar we spend and go through those investments. They don't. They don't. They're just any excuse will do to give tax cuts to their rich friends. Now, we're agnostic. We go in, okay, what do you have to offer? Let's see what we can find common ground on. But we do say that it must be revenue neutral. We're not there to be accomplices to increase